Okay, so welcome back. After a very, very turbulent episode with the LGBTQ movement, we're back by a miracle. We're still alive. We weren't lynched. And this time, since we made it alive last time, welcome back, Costa. Okay, so...
What's up?
Ecco.
What's up?
So, last time we made it alive through the topic of LGBTQ.
Yeah.
We're going to extend on that eventually. But we thought, what can we do to raise the bar and make it a little bit more interesting? So Costa had the brilliant idea to say, why not talk about religion? Just so, if we're going to go to hell, we might as well just take everybody with us. No prisoners. Let's start off with you, Costa.
Yeah.
I'll express my opinions later. And I know for a fact that you can be considered a specialist. You had a very close approach with religion, the saints in general, at a very early age, through your father, correct? He, if I'm not mistaken, he used to teach you from the moment that you could actually understand words and everything. He would teach you on a daily basis.
In Greek, especially.
In Greek, yes. Yeah. On more times during the day, very often during the day. He would remind you of who the saints are and what they do and what effect they have on your life, his life, and in general. Is that correct?
That's actually correct, in clear. He used to express himself, teaching me the words, especially.
What would be the typical expression that Dad would say to give you one of these sessions, one of these lessons?
No,
but because like that, the people can't understand it. Obviously, it's also a different language.
Yeah.
Put some more emphasis, trying to imitate how he would do it. So
in English, translated in English.
Yeah. No. Do it in Greek directly to give it, and then you would translate it into English.
Yeah.
But let's say, for example, something that could set this lesson, what would be an instigation for it. You didn't comb your hair. What would he say? He would look at you and he would say, I don't know.
He would look at me and he would
say that I'm you and you're Dad.
Yeah.
Like that, look at my hair. Do you like it?
Τι κάνεις ρε μαλακισμένο? Δεν σου είπα να τα φτιάξει καλά.
Μα τα έκανα. But I can't.
Την Παναγία σου.
Okay. And that was one of the... But you're not really shouting.
No.
He never shouted?
He was always shouting.
He was shouting. Okay.
Constantly. It's
so
I can't shout.
Let's put another example of maybe he asked you to pick up your toys and you didn't do it after 10 times that he asked.
Exactly. He will say probably, Costa, shouting at me.
Yeah.
Δεν σου είπα να μαζέψεις τα παιχνίδια σου.
So that would be, Costa, didn't I tell you to pick up your toys?
Γαμώ την Παναγία σου.
That is relevant to one of the saints.
Yeah. No, the Madonna.
Yeah. It's you could say it's blasphemy.
Yeah.
you could probably say it's blasphemy.
Yeah. Especially on a daily basis, every day, he will say it.
How about when you were little and you were playing football and he was on the side of the pitch?
Yeah.
Didn't he give you words to encourage you?
Yes.
Again with the saints.
Yeah.
He would encourage you all the time, yeah?
Yeah. The first thing was, my nickname, Malakismeno.
Okay.
Okay. It was always, and my teammates, Malakismeno, they started shouting in English, Malakismeno, Malakismeno.
Okay.
And then came the Bible. Every single one of us, of our team, would understand what to do then.
So he had to invoke saints.
Saints.
You could say, in a way, that this could be
Christian
community. But you could say, in a way, this can be considered like a prayer, right? Because he was praying for you guys to do better.
I don't think so. He wasn't praying. He was
Was it a boost in self-confidence or?
Well, no, it wasn't. It was a little bit scary.
Okay.
And just thinking about when the game stopped, we would like have to like go close to him.
Okay.
And that was scary.
Okay.
He would feed us, you know, oranges and all that shit, and then like give us a small slap behind the head and like say, yeah, you can do better. But explaining, of course, inputting his Greek knowledge and.
But you would feel the emphasis of what he tried to say.
He always used to like, you know, say the church always in the middle, church, the Holy Mary, you know, the Bible, you know, the water,
the holy water. It's called fucking holy water. It's not called fucking holy water. It's called.
Okay, you got some, you know, blood in you from that.
Okay, so right now, coming to present day, what would you consider yourself? Would you consider yourself a religious person, an atheist,
Probably
an agnostic?
I don't know. I don't believe in the church. I think back in the days, like
Back in the day?
Back in the days, it means like before Christ and after Christ and everything.
Okay.
The church was like feeding off the poor, making them work, not giving them knowledge of reading and writing.
Wait a minute. Let's go back. What do you mean making them work?
Well, they used to make them like believe that God, if you don't do this, God would like punish you, and you will be, you know, you will go to hell. You will go to, and you'll be punished for eternity.
I still don't understand that.
Well, this was not now, of course, but like
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, but you need to like elaborate a little bit. Well, you said that they made them work. What do you mean by they made them work?
They enslaved a lot of people.
Opa, what do you mean enslaved?
Making them think that they were like, making them think that they basically wanted to go to heaven. They had to do this, so they were like working for free, basically.
And you realize in the previous video, it was just a small. Somehow we need to cut this.
Yeah,
and I keep
like
doing
laugh around it, you know.
I need to stop, but we'll edit this out.
Yeah, the real thing was like, because they were ignorant, they didn't know how to read, they didn't know how to write. The church took advantage of that.
Took advantage of the ignorance. This is a common thing, though, amongst all religions, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of taking advantage of ignorance of the masses.
Yeah,
right?
the masses. Yeah.
Okay.
The poor people.
Now let's go back to New Zealand, where I believe that it was very, very formative. There were very formative years in New Zealand for us, from a cultural perspective, from the Maori, which was a beautiful culture, and still I think it's a beautiful and amazing culture, and something that everybody should at least once in a lifetime travel to. While we were there, though, I think for a couple of years, maybe more, maybe less, I'm not very sure, we went to Greek school, right?
Well, yeah, when we went to Karori, there was like a Greek school in the afternoon after the normal school, English school. Mm-hmm. By the way, I was going to St. Catherine's school, Christian school, run by nuns and strict teachers and everything.
That's a school. Yeah, you were going to that.
Yeah, you were going to normal.
I was going to a normal kids school.
Normal kids school, yeah. And I was stuck there. I don't know what my mum wanted to put me there. Maybe.
I have a couple of theories.
Well, they chucked me out. Basically, they threw me out. They wanted to, but Mum said, "No, I'm taking my son away from you," because I got hit by the teacher with a ruler and everything.
So you went into
a
non-violent, highly Catholic school.
Yeah.
And you managed to get hit by a nun.
Yeah.
That's a scenario. Yeah. But the hitting didn't stop there. Because then we went to this Greek school.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything from that Greek school?
Yeah, of course. I remember...
First of all, let's say it wasn't a proper school.
Yeah, it was just like a gym.
Some people who spoke Greek and they were just giving lessons on top of the church, on the Orthodox church.
Oh, Greek ladies.
Back to you, sorry for interrupting.
So, I remember the specific teacher, instead of like teaching us Greek, real Greek like this, she would like teach us the religion and everything of Greece and Orthodox, what they did and this and that. And basically, we never learned anything. Well, I didn't learn anything at least, because I was getting kicked out. As soon as I like put my foot in the class, and the class was like boxed up, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I used to like, there was just another kid with me, and I was like talking to him, and she used to like grab my hair from here and pull it up, and like kick my ass by a teacher that was shorter than me too, and then all behind my head, like, pulling it up and like taking me out and like hitting me behind the neck.
Those were different times.
All violence. I don't understand. That's why maybe I did like Muay Thai for 20 years.
Yeah, well, no, I think that type of abuse is unrelated. But no, what I remember from that school is that yes, it was very violent. I don't know, for religious school, well, religious classes. And what would happen when we were, because we were older, therefore by default we were considered like more mischievous than the younger ones by default. What would happen is we would have the teacher, the head teacher, come to us when we were talking in the classroom, and he would have a stick and he would start hitting us all. He would hit everybody. He would hit everybody just on the presumption that, like, even if you're not talking now, you're probably going to talk in a few minutes, so let me hit you now so you know for later. We had become so good at this, that we were at the point towards the end of the year where we would wear our jackets because we knew we were going to get hit, so it wasn't worth it. At the beginning of the class, before even doing anything, while waiting for the teacher, he would come in and he would hit us all with a stick as like a bonus kind of thing. So, we would get smacked around with this long, not very long stick. And it would be like, I'm hitting you now because I know that you're going to speak later. Bum, 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 bum. He would go around hitting all the kids.
He liked that.
Yeah, this particular guy, he really loved that. He got a kick out of that. Understandably, our relationship with religion is not the best. That said, and I have a comparison that I can make afterwards, but at the school, they also taught us the traditional songs that they would sing at the national festivities and so forth. And we would do rehearsals at this place. I remember one time very, very clearly, we were the younger kids. So this guy with a stick, he would be walking around with a stick while we were singing, just so that we were all in tune and we weren't messing about, which we weren't because we were scared shitless. But the older kids, they were like probably 14, 15, they were a little bit more, courageous. I remember one time he was walking about and one of these kids, they started smiling, not even laughing. And this headmaster went there, put the stick under his arm, looked at him, and started like slapping the shit out of him in his face. And obviously, the kid didn't respond. The kid started crying, and then he walked off as if nothing happened. Obviously there's an issue there that we have with religion. So I think after that year we stopped.
Yeah, Mum stopped us.
Yeah, and in the meantime, a little bit before that or during that, my mum thought, okay, well, Costa's going to a Catholic school. Angelo is not, so clearly maybe Angelo has a reason to become the devil. So she used to take me to this church where I was supposed to get my first communion. There we had a nun who was incredibly sweet, incredibly nice, incredibly, docile, completely different to the mayhem and the abuse we were receiving there. And I think you may have come to that as well a few times.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But she was completely different. So here we had the Catholic after school or Sunday school or Saturday school, whatever, I think it was Saturday, from one side, and she was being extremely nice and kind, and she would give us treats and orange juice and whatever. And then from the other side,
you get slapped the shit out of
you get the slap the shit out of it with a stick. It was just it just didn't make sense. But anyway, I think that and the relationship to being early introduced to getting shouted at with all the saints watching or joining. I think it was pretty much the reason. I think at that age, I pretty much stopped believing in religion, and I think around the age of 12, 13.
Wait. Go back a little bit. Mum used to take us even to the Anglican church, remember?
No.
We used to sing too in the choir.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't Anglican church. It was
It was Anglican. It was like typical Anglican church. I remember I was going there. I don't remember you there. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why Mum was like fixated with us to go, you know, fixated with us to go to this bloody church.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
So, yeah. And again, we went to Greece. I think it was probably the first couple of years. I had these really vicious arguments with my dad and my mom.
Remember.
About religion that I didn't believe.
Especially in the car.
Yeah, and I was trying to give reasons for why I didn't believe. I had a point, to the point where my dad couldn't really argue with me.
Yeah.
But my mom, I remember, always used to say, like, no, you have to have faith, you have to have patience. Yeah, she still does. I understand the reason why it was important to her. What about you?
Oh, I remember you arguing with Dad all the time. I was like, what the fuck? Again and again and again. You were like putting out your point there, like, and Dad.
I was persistent.
Yeah, you were. You were persistent. You were telling yours like calmly and everything. But Dad, this and this and this and this. And Dad, I told you, you have to believe in God. Like,
now I remember. Yeah. Now you're giving more emphasis.
Shit, here we go again. Like, we're gonna get shit. If he gets in trouble, I'm getting in trouble. So I'm gonna get this shit.
Yeah, but that was always the case.
I remember I had to run all the time.
That's a little bit how our conversations would finish. You know?
Yeah.
It would be like a conversation to the point where, you know, I had made a point where you couldn't, and then there was a slap across the face, and that's
without, you know,
that's where the conversation finishes.
Oh my God, I remember that. I remember like going to church all the time and everything, asking Mom why, and she's like, yeah, just have faith.
I don't know. You know what?
How am I going to How getting the shit?
You know what? I remember exactly the moment where I stopped believing in God. It was an Easter in New Zealand, and it was the last year that we went to the school. And I remember one time we were just on the night before Easter, the Christos Anesti, and it was like packed. It's always packed in the outside of the church. Everybody's there, with standing with a candle. Everybody, thousands of people there, and we were kids, so I literally couldn't see anything. I had my candle. We were holding our little candle, and being squashed here and there, because I don't understand why we do this. I mean, again, I think it's like any religion. I think it's very stupid, this crowding, getting together right now, and also very dangerous, as it's proven to be during a year. But we were there, and I was like a little kid, and I had my candle. And while, you know, people were stumbling, passing, moving across, my candle broke. So, as my candle broke, then it broke into one part. And, you know, I was getting sad, but it was still there. And then, like, it broke again to another. And then I got angry. And in a moment of rage, I broke my candle into, like, 10 pieces. And my mother was like, shh, don't worry, you can use mine. You can use mine. My mom always being like, super calm, the angel of the situation. My dad wasn't there. I don't remember where he was. Anyway, in all that, and me being upset, one lady in front of me pushed back, and she stepped me with her high heel. Now, you need to understand, like, another thing that I don't understand about these events is that why, when there's an event like this, where you should be very simple, very, how can I say? Humble, very humble, very simplified everything, you know, it's not a catwalk to show off your wealth. Well, this is unfortunately what happens in these events, where people come and they show off their best clothes, their best gold, silver. You know, it's like it's like the moment that people want to show off their best clothes and best outfits, whatever. Anyway, so I get stepped on the foot by this lady with her high heels, and I shout fuck. And this woman turns around and says like, hey, don't be rude, don't swear in church. I'm like, you bitch, you stepped on me. And at that point, I got pulled away. Because a lot of people turned around and they looked at me. It was just like, you know, I'm like, oh, you bitch, you stepped on me. And then I got pulled away. Because obviously other people were turning around. My mother was very, very embarrassed. But I think that was a defining moment where I said, you know what, fuck this. In my own way, when I didn't actually say that, but I think that was the pivotal moment where I changed, I switched.
I used to do even like in the car passing the churches, you know, the Stavro, the sign of Christ.
The cross.
The cross, yeah.
It's called the cross.
Oh, fuck that. I used to do that all the time. Like, why the fuck am I still doing this?
I always cheated. I always cheated. They would look at me and they're like, and I would go like,
like, fuck it now.
Not recently, but we were in Greece in like 2006. We were in church. And again, I don't really do well in churches, but I went there out of respect of the friend, because obviously she's a good friend, and obviously because my mother was there. So I was the drive. And we were there, and at some point, you know, they take the baby and they're reading to it. They take it to the door of the church, and then they're shouting stuff, whether it's negative to go out or negative to go in. I don't remember right now. But at some point, I was like with my hands on my sides, and everybody in church has to have their hands in front of each other. So the priest, while he was reading to my mum and this little kid, he was baptizing, while they were doing that, and all that, he looked at me, and I had a suit on. I was probably the only one with a full suit, proper Italian suit. And he looked at me, and he goes like, so I'm looking at him like to cross my hands. And I looked at him, and I'm like, what? And he goes like,
you need help or something?
I didn't understand. Then I got it like he wanted me to do that as well.
I remember you in our uncle's wedding in Australia. Fuck it, right?
Yeah, another thing I had with
Jesus,
with churches and religion. My uncle gets married in Australia, and I'm one of the
candle boys.
Candle boys?
Yeah, you got big candle.
Well, it wasn't only for boys, because Eleni was on the other side. He said his words not mine. But it's true. Basically, I was in like, we're speaking about penises and religion. Like, this is if we don't go to hell, I don't know what's going to take us there.
Is there?
Is there hell? And basically, I was one of the altar boys, candle boys, whatever you want to call it. And I was holding a candle, and it was very nice, but obviously, I'm like what, 8, 9, something like that.
No, I'm more 10 years.
10, whatever. So clearly, my focus is not on the actual marriage, not on these priests that are continuously giving this sermon. I get very interested in the candlelight in front of me that I'm holding. And I keep looking, and it goes up and down, moving around. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. At some point, I'm saying that I start feeling a little bit dizzy. While I'm feeling a little bit dizzy, then I faint. And I'm falling backwards with the candle, as you do. Stunk. Still when I hit my head. I get up, they pull me up. At that time and at that age, they still could lift me. And they take me outside the church, where if that wasn't already enough and the embarrassment wasn't already enough, I vomit on the stairs of the church. So literally, the Antichrist. like So I vomit after that, because obviously I was dizzy from watching that on the candle flick. I had my experience to show my atheist views in Australia as well at a wedding. Result.
Yay!
But then I danced all night.
In Egypt, we used to go to the mosque.
Yeah.
Some of them, you know, the big ones, to see, like the Citadel and all of that. And we used to take off our shoes and go around.
You took off your shoes?
Yeah. Took got park shoes, go around inside and everything, and check it out. It's massive, empty. One section covered with a black blanket and everything, and that was a section of the women.
Okay.
The women had to go there. And
Okay.
it was a small place.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they don't go in the mosques. They pray at home. They don't go. Only men go to the mosques and pray. But that one there, the big citadel, had a massive...
Medina, what is it called?
Citadel.
Citadel.
Yeah.
Like the payment option.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not saying, but...
No, it was quite... it was, I think, one of the biggest ones I've seen. It was,
Yeah?
Really big, yeah. That was massive. That was an experience.
Okay,
We weren't praying
that's,
basically that time,
but that's more a tourist approach.
Yeah.
That you get. What do you think about religion in general? I'm not talking about just Catholic and
Christian, Catholic,
Christian or Muslim
Orthodox,
or Buddhist or whatever. What do you think about
Oh, I think is a good way, like in Greece, for example, in the Italian school we used to go, we had like our first teacher was like fucked up a little bit, the priest was smoking and drinking and all that. And then we had this other priest, the religion classes that we used to do. We had like 1 hour a week, something like that. And his name was Mavrophidis. It was,
Okay.
He was like
Black Snake, if anyone
black
wants to translate that.
Yeah.
What a name for a priest.
And basically, at the beginning, it was like, always a problem with me and him, a conflict with him. I wasn't listening too much. I was talking, and like he used to send me out. I used to play basketball. That was the normal thing to do.
Nobody cares
For me. And then he like came out and had a chat with me. He said to me like, "Come inside. Like, I'm not going to tell you to like believe in God or whatever.
Take your clothes off.
Yeah, or whatever. But just listen what I say. I'm just talking about what we did back in the days, and if you want
So he wanted to
believe,
sell
can
you
do it.
religion through the history of religion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I found him. It was interesting because it's like history and everything.
Okay.
But still, I never believed in the church. So
I know
he was
that.
a great guy. He was like really good. He was like really good teacher too. And,
No. I've seen him on the bad side, and he was a fucking psycho.
he was a psycho. Yeah, I know. I've seen him like shout at me all the time at the beginning. He was like a bulldog, like really angry. His eyes used to come out. I was like, fuck. Like,
Great guy.
Well, he was the only one who like tried to convert me and going to church and everything. But okay,
It didn't work.
didn't work. No, didn't.
But what do you think about religions in general?
Think they're like.
Because it looks like you didn't understand the question.
Just
Let me rephrase that, and let me just put it in a different prospect. Right, there are about 3,000 religions.
3,000. The
Yeah.
main ones are like.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't have a scoreboard. No, who's best? There are about 3,000 different religions.
Yeah.
And we're not even going about the Scientology and all that crap,
Yeah.
even though Scientology is quite big, big for business at least. Don't you find it ironic that if you believe in God,
Yeah.
and you believe that that's the only God, and that God did everything, built everything, did everything
Yeah.
for you, isn't it ironic that you're basically excluding the other 2,099
Yeah.
religions,
Well-
999 religions?
Well,
And don't you think that it's the same for everybody? Like the Buddhists, they exclude the other religions. The Orthodox, they believe they're the only religions. Only that, if you were to take that as a statistic
yeah.
and say like, okay, this clearly proves that religion is like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I believe only in black t-shirts, or I believe in yellow t-shirts today.
Try to say.
No, but isn't that proof alone that that is clearly subjective and that there's no real fundamental truth to that?
Well, I believe that's...
Was it a complicated question?
Yeah, basically, yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? Just make it simple. Like,
No, it's just like there's tons of scientific proof that religion doesn't exist. There's I believe in science. I believe in development.
Me too.
I can understand the reasons why religion was created. Higher power. Jesus.
So,
higher powers and what they were doing. I mean, for me, it's like it was based on, okay, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going to happen after you die. You don't know what's happening. And you have to explain it somehow.
Yeah.
Because you have to fight fear.
Yeah, and they used to put like faith. Explaining everything, you must have faith. And
basically what you didn't know, or you just had to believe in it because there's nothing that can prove the opposite, and it makes you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, for me, I can understand why it was, and this is the reason why I respect people that do believe. I don't respect their religion. I don't respect religion per se, but I do respect people that say like, okay, I believe in God. I'm like, okay, you're free to do that. I know, like, for example, Mom is very religious, but I can understand also why, because Mom was an orphan at a very early age, so, she needed somebody or something to give her power to move on and to grow, and she found that through religion, so... And
that time was, like, full-on religion, and...
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you could, find different ways of gaining strength, but that's how she found it. Under that prospect, I can't say, Mom, look, no, you're an idiot or whatever, you're stupid, you shouldn't believe, because if that's what helped you, then, like, Godspeed, whatever. So, I don't have anything against that, but if you ask me, like, for me, religion is ridiculous.
It's
I can
toxic.
understand.
For me,
it's toxic, it's very good. There are other people that said that. There are a lot of people that say that religion is toxic, because while it tries for me to sell you good morals, at the same time, it also teaches you other things that are wrong, very, very wrong, and they're unreal. So, you're basically, it's like Ricky Gervais said this one, it's like believing in God is believing in an unpaid babysitter. Basically, if you're brought to think that, there's somebody up there always watching you, what you do is good or bad or whatever, and like, you're not doing it until you're trying to conduct your life correctly in the fear that somebody is watching you, and like, he's just
you're gonna go to hell.
I'm like, are you fucked up?
Big Malakia.
Now you're going to hell.
Down.
Or you ask for forgiveness, it's okay.
Yeah.
You did something else bad. You ask for forgiveness. It's okay. You confessed. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Confessing.
Confessing is another thing. Why do you think people confess?
Well,
why do you think there is confession? Maybe better.
Well, they brought it up like very intelligently, these priests, so they can know everything about everyone. From all sides, from every single side. So you go to confess, he gets the point. Like, he understands from you this and this and this. Another person, the other, each point of view and everything, and he makes up and everything, and it shoves it back to the Vatican or to the other main...
Well, yes, and not necessarily back to the Vatican, but confession, for me... Confession, for me, nowadays, is an alternative way of doing organic marketing.
Yeah.
Because what you do is basically you're letting people tell you their secrets, and you're letting the secrets of everybody. So so you can get a global picture of what's going on and what's happening, and then you can target your sermon. You can target your Sunday sermon.
Even if you don't go now.
Yeah.
Your grandma's going to go, so all the shit that you have done, whatever, to the priest, to help you, and the priest, is going to know everything about you.
And so
it goes on
it's a very intelligent marketing strategy, I think, that gives them, real-life feedback on what to do next, or what to expect, or what to...
Yeah, how to, like, as the religion has evolved
Yeah.
from back in the days to now, they're always going up. They're always, like, on the same level of, the people are trying to get out of it, but they can't. Everybody's, like, they always keep on finding ways to bring you back into the religion and make you...
there's been a lot of talk about the different religions, and again, I don't believe in any religion. I would like to be able to say that I take the good things out of each religion, but these things are not derived from religion. So for me, at the end of the day, you won't want to conduct yourself as a good person, you don't need religion.
Yeah.
If you want to be kind, if you want to be nice to people, it's not religion that will make you kind and nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Very often the opposite is proven. And not only going back to the Crusades, to the witch hunts, to the Inquisition in Spain. There's so many bad things that have come from religion, that I think if you sum it up, it won't be as bad, although it's really, really bad, to like the dictators that we've had. And I think it's very, very similar. It's very much on the same page. Even now, with the recent events they've always been happening, but now it's being uncovered with the priest with being with all those kids.
Oh yeah,
abused.
Violated.
Violated and abused. It's fucking ridiculous. You can think like a priest, a man of God, is doing something like that, where you believe that that's the highest moral power that represents any. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
How that and no consequences.
Yeah, and they say I'm just a human. They say
they're covering it up.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and yet people still go in thousands, millions to gatherings and to mass. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And they got these. This is like a minor thing in comparison to the kids and everything. But there's always like people giving money, giving diamond rings,
giving donations,
and
I think that's because of guilt. Because there's a lot of fucked up people there, and they think that. And this is the problem with Christian religion for me, is the fact that when you ask for forgiveness, it's okay. We're talking about religion, but right now we're actually focusing more on the church and the people of that religion. But it's fucked up because it gives you again the sense of guilt that you feel like you always have to do. When in reality it's not like that. With science being so advanced and with so much elements showing the origin of the world, of the universe, with so much proof at hand, that people still think, okay, I see that you've done this study. I've seen that many people have done this study. Thousands of computers have calculated crunched these numbers, and they're able to predict and foresee what has happened, what is going to happen to the universe, and how things are created, and how things are done, and how procreation is made. Because man is not made from clay, and the woman is not made from his rib. I see that, but I still believe in God. I still want to go to church. I still want to do this. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Really, you're talking about yourself. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, what?
No.
He said now he doesn't believe it.
No, it's like it's you get all this proof, and people still say, yeah, I'm still going to go with religion.
Yeah, that's faith, right?
And that's the thing, and faith is a motherfucker because you can have faith.
So afraid of what's going to happen to you after you die.
That's what happens to insecurity, when people have insecurity, when people are ignorant. That's the, in some places, and this is again, I can forgive certain situations because when there's a lot of ignorance and somebody gets to these groups of ignorance first and sells them and gives them water, gives them food, gives them help, which are supposedly the good things, people get bribed, realistically. Because, if I want to help you, like very recent now, what happened in Lebanon, in Beirut, it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible thing. Hundreds have died. And you see like a lot of people, like, you know, the company where I work, they're gathering stuff to send them over.
Yeah, must too.
Yeah. It's not based on religion.
Mm.
It's based on like, I want to give you something, you know, because if we can help, we can help.
Yeah.
It's not based like, okay, what religion does, what churches do, is they provide you that safe space, and then, you know, they kind of like sell you, well, you know why you got this, you know why you got food, you know why you got shelter? Because the big guy on the cross, you know? Yeah. And maybe the first days are like, yeah, whatever. And like, oh, you start wondering, why are these people so kind? And I say, well, we're kind because of the big guy, and, you know, it brainwashes.
Yeah, brainwashes.
So and you think like,
brainwashing.
So, for me is...
and from the schools, what do you think in Africa? Most of the schools, like, it's all like churches and it's funded by churches and everything.
Exactly.
Brainwashing from the kids, you know, from the big...
This is the thing that infuriates me. One of the most things that infuriates me the most is that you get people, not people, sorry. How do you call them? These priests?
Monks. No, monks.
No,
missionary.
Missionary. Well, missionaries. I don't know why I missed that. But, these missionaries that go in and they go into the remote places, they're only going there because these are the people that can be easily
manipulated
and brainwashed. Mm. When they don't have anything and they have this man who teaches them stuff, teaches them how to read, teaches them these fake riches.
Grow up with them, basically.
Yeah, and they're at risk because they could get killed, but they want to find these tribes or remote places, but they go there, and then their goal is to basically convince and have more people converted, more followers. Yeah. It's kind of like the social media. The social media missionaries were basically the Twitter of or the Facebook of that time of the church.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying like the marketing scouts that went in and to find more followers. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. Once again, it's ridiculous. A lot of people are going to be upset about this episode.
You're going to get fucked in the ass about this.
What? You were talking about what? Costa was talking about what's going to happen to him when he gets home.
No.
But, no, a lot of people are going to be upset about this. But, at the end of the day, we're just expressing an opinion. There is science. It's just the same people that don't believe in global warming. You can't deny the science. Unfortunately, that's how it is. The world wasn't created. Our world wasn't created 4,500 years ago. It wasn't created 4.5 million years ago. There wasn't no Adam and Eve. There wasn't no. I mean, there's so many arguments against it that this just doesn't make sense. Why are there kids that wake up they get born in Africa with AIDS? If you believe in God and you believe that He creates everything, and He does everything, light, air, water, animals, Noah's Ark, everything. We exist here only because of Him. Can you explain to me why are children that have no fault whatsoever, have no predisposition whatsoever to be at fault, get born with AIDS? Mm-hmm. Why do children die? Children are supposedly innocent, right?
Yeah.
And even if they're not innocent because they're not baptized yet, because some of you are going to say that, say after they get baptized, it doesn't mean their AIDS goes away. Mm. So why? Why? Nobody can reply to that. Because if you're going to reply, well,
it's
God has His ways, I'm going to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because that's not my explanation. Because if I was a father or a mother, and you gave me that explanation, I would say, fuck you. You're full of shit. So, with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this episode. again, this is our opinion.
Yeah.
We're not saying it to piss anybody off. But actually, some people are going to get pissed off. But I was hearing a podcast the other day.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It was very, very weird because I thought, okay, I went online. I went to Facebook, and I'm part of these communities on Facebook. And you're going to laugh at this. I went and there was this sort of exchange, like, listen to my podcast and I'll listen to yours and we can review each other.
Yeah.
And I just, by coincidence, randomly picked one. And it was the name of a guy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were married. So, okay, I said, like, this is a family one. Let's see that. And this was a video. It wasn't it was a podcast, but it was a video podcast. They start off, very good sound, very good image. I'm like, okay, these guys are professionals.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was it about?
Religion.
Religion.
But a different kind of religion. I mean, different kind of approach.
Mm-hmm.
And the approach was basically we waited to do this podcast because God told us to wait until now because we have some very, very specific things to tell you. And God had told us very specifically to wait and do this podcast and let everybody know certain things that He spoke to us about. And so I was like, so God told you, hey, Costa, don't do this podcast now. Wait a couple of months, because I'm about to tell you some things, and then you can go and podcast it and see it. And these people are dead serious. These people are probably in their 30s and their 40s. And the guy was like, big guy like us with a beard. He's like, yeah. He's nodding everything that she says, and he's like, yeah. God told me that. I don't remember the exact words, but it was so surreal. I probably blanked it out. And he was like, yeah, God told me that we needed to wait through this virus and do this and do that, and we needed. I'm like, is God like a
He probably was, WhatsApping or something like that.
Yeah, like, was he texting you? Is he a director? Like, no, because it's going to be more effective. Like, God is talking to you and telling you when to podcast? Are you fucking serious? Are you out of your fucking mind?
I think they're retarded.
And these people are normal. These people live amongst us. These people breathe.
Did you ever, check if they had followers or...
They had followers.
Huh?
They had followers.
Yeah?
They had followers. It was fucking ridiculous because these people were so serious. And they were grown-ass people. It's ridiculous. And I couldn't believe it. I thought it must be like a comedy thing. It must be. You can't go on a podcast and say like, hey, God told me to tell you on episode 55. Hey, how can you explain it? This is. I don't know. Anyway, that's where we are in 2020. Clearly, the COVID-19 has affected some people in the brain.
I think even before that.
Probably before that.
Oh, fucked up in the brain.
I tend to believe more the people that are going to say like that are waiting for the apocalypse of doomsday, that do prepping and
from these guys, yeah.
I prefer to believe those that someday a bomb or a comet is going to fall, or we're going to, rather than these people saying like God spoke to me and He told me to say
what
this.
What do you think about the situation with the Vatican at that time? Well, the secretary of one of the archbishops, was got there. You're gonna get killed after this. Was like stealing from the archbishop's desk all the information and everything, and like.
I heard something about that. What was that about?
It was about, I don't know exactly.
She opened an ugly.
I thought you knew about this one.
I heard something about it, but I don't know the details.
So it was like pissing off everybody. He got fired, and he had some of these documents that were like top secret and everything.
Yeah, well, this is another thing. Like, what is the top secret thing that the Vatican can have?
Well, Vatican has underneath. The Vatican has.
Yeah, okay, I've heard that. They have old books and transcripts, library.
Library.
That can be interesting. That can be very, very interesting to read. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
especially for somebody who reads, that would be very, very interesting. But what is the big secret that they could have? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're the church, the only big secret you should have is that God exists.
Yeah.
Like, we have the proof. Here it is. Here's God, selfie, with Judas and the guys. And like, hey, that's the only proof.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's the only proof, the big secret that the church should have.
Yeah.
Because if they have stuff on Leonardo da Vinci's like airplane, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's, I could find that in another library or whatever. But unless I have that secret,
it's about probably on the table of that guy who probably had like money laundering the Vatican Bank.
yes, yeah,
That's
because it's tax free.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's very, very, very possible. Anyway, with that, I don't know if we're going to extend another episode on religion. Maybe if we bring in.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna laugh.
Anyway, hope you enjoyed our comments. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, take it with a pinch of salt because we're just telling our beliefs and our opinions. But if you did get offended, tough. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.